PSG versus Real Madrid, semi-finals. Somebody has to go home. Welcome to the recap. PSG versus Real Madrid, Real Madrid versus PSG. What can we expect from this game, brother?
If I'm a betting man, I'm betting that this is a back and forth game, two por two. I don't think either one of these teams is going to sit back and wait and counterattack. I think they're both going to get after it and apply a lot of pressure, a lot of pressing. I think it's going to be a fast paced game. I'm really excited for this one.
PSG coming from a very dominant season where they won everything and they can virtually win some more. And on the other hand, you have Real Madrid, who's coming from a very disappointing season. A lot would say a failure of a season. I do agree it's going to be a back and forth game with PSG having most of the possession. Now, we do have both back lines have taken a hit. On one end, you have Dean. On the other end, you have PSG's Pacho. Who do you think takes a bigger hit?
Pacho is arguably PSG's best center back, but man, Dean Housen is Madrid's best defender. That's gonna really impact their back line, their way of playing the game and approaching it. I think you're gonna see a Madrid that's not gonna try to lock up PSG. They're not gonna try to keep it, 1-0, a 2-1, 2-0 and counterattack style game. I think they know their backline is injured and they're just gonna have to go after it and try to get as many goals as possible.
With losing Dean, you lose a lot of ball distribution from the back. He's been able to get some forward momentum going. With Dean being out, now you are forced to play Asensio. It seems in the couple of games that Xavi has been in charge of the club, he's lost trust in Asensio's ability to defend and be a key player in that back line.
I don't think he's lost faith in his ability to defend. He doesn't trust his level of experience. He hasn't been in a lot of these big games and these big moments to be relied upon. He played a little bit of Champions League, a couple of cup finals last season, but he's not a veteran player. He doesn't have a whole lot of first division experience. And it shows first 2 games of the Club World Cup. He made crucial errors that dictated the outcome of those games. Those are games that Madrid could have easily won or got out Hilal. He caused the penalty that made them tie it up. So, as a manager, you got to take all of this into consideration. I don't think Xabi Alonso gave up on him. Going to give him his chance to earn a spot back and see what he can do.
But you're playing a player that is coming back from injury. Yes, Rudiger has all the experience in the world. He has the championships under his belt. He has the international games. He has everything. But he's barely coming back from injury. Anybody that watches these games, they see that Rudiger is not 100%, not even 50% ready. And you're still putting Rudiger ahead of Asensio. That must tell you a lot.
Rudiger, when healthy, the last time we saw him healthy, he was in the team of the season, team of the year. He put up a legendary center back campaign. He had the penalty against Manchester City, a lot of memorable moments. They won the domestic treble. You can rely on Rudiger, but it just looks like those injuries and the surgery, they caught up to him, and he looks pretty banged up. It's too late to shop around for a center back. We're already here. We got to play it through. But, let's just hope that he can produce enough to get us past PSG.
I'm going to give you 3 names, Manny. Carvajal, Doué, and Dembele. Will Madrid's back line be able to handle these 3 rockets?
You can say the same thing for PSG. Bellingham, Mbappe, Gonzalo. You can.
Don't get too ahead of this. We're going to go into that right now because that is a hot topic and of who's going to be starting in that top. But let's get back to those 3 names. Can you honestly see a defense of Asensio, Rudiger, and Garcia? I want to add Trent, but he's maybe like a 10-90, 10% defense, 90% offense. But let's add him in there. You think that back line can honestly hold these 3 guys the way that PSG works, especially the way that PSG plays?
Taking the jersey off, not speaking as a Madrid fan, just speaking objectively, no, they can't shut down PSG. That's why I think they have to get into a goal for goal kind of match to try to outscore them, because that team, nobody has found a way to shut them down. And I don't think this backline is going to be the one that finds a way.
They've been scoring for fun. They've been having tremendous success, especially that Dembele has matured and is now picking the correct moments when to shoot, when to dribble, when to pass. He hasn't been starting these last couple of games, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be starting this game. And which, even if one of the guys on top, if it's not Due or Cavskelia, is not there, you have a young player like Barcola who can come in and add to the team. And let's not talk about the midfielder. Vitinha, Neves, Fabian is a well-rounded team.
I believe Madrid is just as well rounded, aside from the injuries to the back line. Madrid's best chance is to go into that three back formation and just try to go all out attack and just try to outscore them.
Now let's get to one of the hot topics of this game. Who is going to start in the top? We have Gonzalo Garcia, who's been doing a tremendous job. You have Kylian Mbappe, who's coming back from injury, scored a really nice goal against Dortmund. Or Mr. Vinicius, should I go to Saudi Jr.? Who should be the starters for this game?
Who should be the starters is a much different question from who will be the starters. The reports are saying that Mbappe is
Okay.
going to start. They're saying Gonzalo is going back to the bench, which I believe is the wrong decision. And if Xabi Alonso is a man of his word, he will bench Vinicius because that is who has been underperforming. That's who has been underwhelming, for a couple months now. So you see Rodrigo is rotting away on the bench because he hasn't been producing. I don't think you can give Vinny any different treatment. Everybody is equal in this club and nobody is safe from being benched.
I understand you benched Rodrigo, but benching Vinicius Jr., who is your franchise or one of your franchise players, one of your biggest faces of the club, it's a whole different story than benching Rodrigo. If you give Gonzalo Garcia the opportunity, that tells something to not just your strikers, but the whole team. Hey, it doesn't matter if you're worth $200 million or you just came up from the B team. Whoever's producing is going to get the game time. But with that said, I think he's going to go Vinicius and Mbappe. You have to. It's Real Madrid. It's a big team. You have to not just perform, but you have to play with your star players and make sure that they perform.
If I'm Xabi Alonso, I say I'm starting Gonzalo and Mbappe because that is who has been producing for me.
The next day, Xavi, thank you for all you've done. Go home.
If he's bringing in trophies, I don't think Florentino can argue with him.
Now, is this the end for Real Madrid's World Cup?
These are one leg games. This isn't the Champions League where you have a chance to remontar. Anything is possible. You see Inter Milan got bounced. You see all these big teams, Bayern Munich got bounced. It's always a possibility. I trust my team. We just need 1%. The odds makers are saying it's about 45% Madrid. We stand a chance.
Both you and I, we're boxing fans too, so let's bring that in a little bit in here. Every fighter always has a puncher's chance, especially if you have fists. Madrid is a team that have a punch. Does Madrid need to be perfect to win this game?
I wouldn't say perfect. You're never going to have a perfect match, but we do need this to be one of those matches where you're like, man, Madrid just played great football. This is prime Xabi Alonso ball. That's the kind of game that we need today.
It seems like it has to be perfect or nearly perfect for them to beat this PSG team. I wonder if Madrid in one way can be more physical than PSG because sometimes PSG tends to get tired at the end of the matches, and that's where Real Madrid all of a sudden has a second win and is full of energy and they start attacking. But maybe that would be too late by the time that PSG already scored 2 to 3 goals. With that said, Manny, what do you think is going to be the score line and who's going to be scoring these goals?
I'm going to go 3-2 Real Madrid. 3-2 for Real Madrid.
That's interesting. Both keepers have been performing well, but I'm going to be going with 3-1 PSG. It's been a good Club World Cup for Real Madrid, but PSG right now is a whole nother level, and Luis Enrique is going to Luis Enrique Xavi out of there.
Nobody's found the key to beat PSG. That is the reason that they've won 4 trophies this season, and they're looking to win their 5th. It's not looking good, but if anybody has a chance, you believe it is my Real Madrid.
If they have a chance, if they can lock them in, if they can make the game ugly where they can get some counters and Vinicius or Mbappe, or even if Gonzalo play up top, get to capitalize, that could be a very interesting game.
I've seen Gonzalo score last minute winners. Mbappe score hat tricks to come back in the World Cup finals. Jude Bellingham hit stoppage time winners. Vinicius, he had his Ballon d'Or legendary run. You got Rodrigo, who brought us back from Man City in 2 minutes. I'm never going to count this team out. I'm interested to see how this plays out.
How much of a slap would this be to Mbappe to be eliminated by PSG? You leave to Real Madrid to win Champions League, you win 0. You get slapped by Barcelona 4 times, and not even like a chill slap. It's like that slap contest by Dana White where they start out being Asian and they turn out being Caucasian.
The only way that Real Madrid leaves with their tail between their legs, with their morale at an all-time low, is if PSG just completely dominates them, smacks them around, which I don't see happening. You could say PSG is going to win. They're favored to win this game. If I'm Real Madrid and I give them the best game that anybody has given them lately, this goes down to the final minutes. You leave there with your head held high and you realize that you're building something.
Manny, any last words before we go?
You already know what I'm about to say. A la Madrid.
Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure to like, share, subscribe. Make sure to send this to anybody, and I mean anybody, with some or zero ball knowledge. See you here next video.